Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. Today we're going to take a look at the top 5 pens I would rebuy over 100 Australian dollars. Now this is a massive price range to look at, and it would be easy to pick all expensive pens. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have quite a wide range in terms of prices, but they're all really nice pens that I enjoy using. Join me now down on the mat and let's take a look at this top 5 list. Welcome down to the table. Today's paper is by Ayush. It's 100 GSM paper. It's made in India. It's a very nice paper. It's slightly cream in colour and it's got a gorgeous texture to it. You can really feel it as you rub your fingers over. So we're going to be looking today at pens I would rebuy that are over 100 Aussie dollars. Now I don't have too many pens that fall in this price range, so it's not been too difficult. Like the other videos, I'm limiting myself, so from any one manufacturer I can only pick one pen. So the first pen actually comes from Opus 88, and it's the Opus 88 Koloro. I've got this top part open just so I can have the valve open for writing. This is blue and teal, so you've got this blue ebonite and then this teal plastic. One of the downsides with this teal, it's quite dark, so I do struggle to see through to actually see the ink levels, but it's nice. You can actually usually see something flowing in there, although this pen is fairly full. This is an eyedropper pen, or Japanese eyedropper, so you unscrew the section and you fill the barrel with, well, I use a blunt nose syringe. So let's write. So we've got here an Opus 88 Koloro. It's a broad nib. All today's pens, one thing they've all got in common, they're all broad nibbed. And it cost me 120 Aussie dollars. The ink is by Diamine and it's Jack Frost. Now, I believe this ink should have a red sheen. I always struggle with it. Let's see if there's anything showing through at the moment. You can't really see it. But we'll see as it dries. Let's see what happens. Drying times. So immediate. 10 seconds. 30 seconds. 1 minute. So after a minute, still smudging a bit, but it's not enough that I need to do that 2-minute test. I'm going to move the mic and write a sentence. Very pleasant writing feel. Nice. I'm not going to say there's an over amount of feedback, but there's nice audible and tactile. I can feel as I'm writing. I can feel it. Certainly with this textured paper, I can feel it going over the textures. Let's just see. Can we... Right, I can't see any sheen. And maybe this one is where my brain went. But we've definitely got... Can you see? We've got shimmer. Certainly, you know, on that first 2 lines, we've got blue background and we've got this gorgeous blue shimmer, and I can see a little teeny bit of red sheen there on the top of the U. When we come down to the sentence, the G and the R, we're getting a bit of red sheen coming through on the P. It's not massive amounts, and X and I have got some nice red sheen and a bit of the shimmer. So we are seeing some, but certainly not as much as I would have liked to have seen. It's a nice pen. I've deliberately got Jack Frost in here for something I'm going to be doing later on in the year. Really like this though. It's a nice pen, very comfortable to use. You know, nice, comfortable section there. Nib's a bit on the small side. I'd have liked a number 6 nib on there. But at the end of the day, it writes well, and that's all I'm after. So that was the Opus 88 Koloro. Pen number 2 is The Hulking pen, massive pen. This is by Ranga and it's the Model 5. This is in the resin version. I believe they do ebonite versions as well. This, I think it was called Green Swirls. Very nice black. We've got greens, we've got some like silver chatoins there, we've got greys. Placed quite nice in the light. It's a big pen. Even when you're writing with it, it's big. I do find this is extremely comfortable to use because of that width. It's not overly heavy. I do have some issues with my arm, and I find that this, on days when my arm's playing up, very nice to use. So we've got this number 6 nib. This is a Ranga nib in a Ranga Model 5. So broad nib. I think this pen, it's the sort of pen that really deserves them wider nibs. Cost-wise, was $142 when I bought it. Had it about 18 months, maybe even 2 years now. The ink is by Diamine. And it's Elf. It's from the same ink vent calendar that Jack Frost came from. Nice green colour. It's a standard ink, so there's no sheen, there's no shimmer. Drying times, there's immediate, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, almost dry. I'm going to do a 1 minute test on this. Nice and dry there at a minute. Let's move the mic down to the page and we'll write our sentence. I love the way this writes. There's really nice feedback. It's an Indian made pen. Very nice. I say it's got the Ranga nib. I do have another Ranga pen, and on there I've actually got a Yoho nib, and I believe they do Bock nibs. I think you can get gold, titanium. They do a whole range of different nibs, and you pick the nib you want when you're ordering the pen. It's a big pen, surprisingly light. Believe it or not, you can sort of post it. It's not very solid, but look how big it is. You know, it's like a magic wand. So not really a pen you'd use posted. It's a massive pen anyway. So that's the Ranga Model 5. I move the page up ever so slightly. So the next pen, here we go. This is the Benu Talisman. This is in Dragon's Blood. And it's the one I keep saying always, every time I fetch this out, it should have been called the Christmas pen because just looking at the red and the green sparkles just reminds me of Christmas. Every time I see this pen, that's the first thing that comes into mind. I can see where they've got Dragon's Blood. You know, you've got the green of the scales and the red for blood. Absolutely love this pen. Very nice pen. Bit on the small side. It's usable unposted. You know, it's postable. I use it unposted anyway. It's nice. It's light. Bit on the thin side, but that's fine. Number 6 Schmidt nib writes really well. Let's write with this. We've got a Benu Talisman with a broad nib. This was 167 Aussie dollars. The ink, now one of the things you won't have seen during all my drying times, I've been sat there with this pen, fidgeting with it, spinning it and shaking it because there's an ink in here which should have sheen and shimmer. The ink is by Diamine and it's Garland. This is an ink I love in this pen. I think they go so well together. Drying times, there's immediate, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, still fairly wet there after a minute. We're going to do a 2-minute test. Yeah, 2 minutes there, we're nice and dry. Let's move the mic and write a sentence. I love the nib on this pen, this Schmidt nib. Very nice. Now, although I'm saying it's a number 6, it might actually not be. It might be number 5. I'm not 100% certain. I know that it's down not so much the length, but it's to do with the width. So that's something I need to follow up. I'm sure I did this follow up before, and I got myself convinced it was a number 6 nib. But I could be wrong with that. Very nice though. Very, very smooth. Not a lot of feedback. It's pleasant. I mean, personally, I would like a little bit more feedback, but that's just me. And on this textured paper, it works really well. Right, let's see. Have we got anything coming through? Well, we've got loads of it, haven't we? We've got loads of the red shimmer. No, we haven't. We've got loads of the red sheen. And we've got masses of blue shimmer. Just look on Benu Talisman. Virtually every letter, we've got that tealy green background colour. We've got red for the sheen, and we've got this gorgeous splash of blue coming through where we've got that shimmer. If we look down at Grumpy Wizards, loads of blue coming through there. Again, hints of the red. The rest of it seems to be dropping off, but as that dries even more, hopefully more of that will come through. I love this pen. It's the only Benu I've got. Main reason I haven't bought any others, I've got to be honest, they're just too blingy, they're too in your face. This reminds me of Christmas. It was bought to use at Christmas. I love this ink in it. I love Diamine Garland. When this Garland runs out, I'm not sure. I do have some other similar inks. Not sure which one I'd use though, because I just love this as a combo. Very nice pen. I like the facets, really comfortable to use. So this is the Benu Talisman. Let's move the page again. Give me a bit more room. So the next pen is by Diplomat. It's the Diplomat Aero. This is in the factory finish, so it's just the pure plain aluminium. I think there might be a coating on the top. Love it. I love the way we've got these, I'm going to call them indents going round. Very nice, very comfortable. Aluminium. Doesn't weigh too much, but you can definitely feel it. Metal section, and it does feel quite slippy. There is a tiny bit of texturing on there. Not a lot, but there is a little bit. Like the Benu and the Ranga, cartridge converter. This is a Diplomat converter, so it came with it. Again, we're talking all metal pen. So, not even something that's worth thinking about eyedroppering. Cap just clips on and off. Very nice, very smooth. Bit difficult to pull off, which means it's not something you could accidentally pull off without really realising. So we've got here a Diplomat Aero. And guess what? It's a broad nib. It was 262 Aussie dollars. So we have taken quite a big jump in price. You know, the first two pens that I showed, the Opus 88 Koloro and the Ranga Model 5, I could have bought each of those for the same price as this one. The ink, this ink actually ran out yesterday. I did think about changing it, but then I thought, no, I like this ink in this pen. It's by Pure Pens. Pure Pens it's a Welsh company. They do retail, but they also make some inks of their own. And this ink is one they make. It's called St. George's Cross. Beautiful, gorgeous red ink. Drying times, so we got immediate. I've got to make sure I use a different finger for this one. Otherwise, we'll be cross-contaminating. There's 10 seconds. 30 seconds. 1 minute. Another one we're going to do a 2-minute test on. After 2 minutes, that's nice and dry. Let's move the mic and write the sentence. That's another nice writing pen. Smooth, tiny hint of feedback. Now, I may be wrong on this one, but I believe the nibs for Diplomat, they're made to Diplomat's specification, but they're made by Yoho. Very nice pen, very nice nib. One thing I don't like about this, I'm just going to twist it, because a lot of caps twist off. What you're actually doing here is unscrewing the body. So that's something to be aware of. This is a pull off, not a twist off. And I'm forever forgetting that, twisting it, seeing that the body's coming undone, then having to put it back together. So this is the Diplomat Aero. Move the paper ever so slightly. Time for the fifth pen. So I've got to fetch this one in. The fifth pen I'd rebuy, my most expensive pen, Pilot Custom 823. If I had to rebuy any of these, I don't know how I'd find the money to get this one. I mean, it's nearly $400. And that was buying it from Europe on a sale. So it's not a cheap pen. Beautiful pen to write with there. Love the transparent brown. It's a vacuum filler. And I like the fact that there, can you see, hopefully you can see the ink sloshing around. This is a gold nib. All the rest have been steel nibbed. This is a Pilot Custom 823 with a broad nib. 394 Aussie dollars. Now I tend to keep just brown inks in here. I suppose you could use virtually any colour, but I find brown works really well. Might try it with a green, like a brown of a trunk and a green of a leaf. That's something to think about for the future. But for now, we've got Dominant Industry. And it's Lungo. Gorgeous brown, loads of shading coming through. Drying times. So there's immediate. 10 seconds. Try to remember to use a different finger that time. One of the issues I do have, when I do my recording, I do bulk recording. So I actually record 3 videos in one day. Means your hands get covered in all sorts of different ink colours depending on what you're doing. That was 10 seconds, so we go for 30 seconds. 1 minute. More or less dry there at 1 minute. We'll move the mic down to the page and do a sentence. Gorgeous to write with. The nib, because it's gold, it's got a bit of bounce to it, a bit of softness to it. Very, very nice. Do get a little bit of line variation with this as well. So that's no pressure. There's with pressure, none, and that's with, none, and that's with. Very nice. I say with this ink, it's a nice dark brown. I do think there's hints of green in it as well. Not a lot, but just little bits. If you look at the V and the I on there, they look nearly green to me. Not sure what they look like coming over on the camera. Nice shading, really nice ink. Very nice pen to use as well. So that's a Pilot Custom 823. Swap on over and we'll fetch in the pens for one final look. The top 5 pens over 100 Aussie dollars that I would rebuy if something were to happen to my collection. We've got the Opus 88 Koloro, the Ranga Model 5, the Benu Talisman, the Diplomat Aero, and the Pilot Custom 823. All of them have got a broad nib. If I could buy only one that I could rebuy, and it is a very, very difficult choice because I love them all, I'd go for the Benu Talisman. 167 Aussie dollars. It looks nice. I say, look, we've got that nice prettiness to it. Yes, it's slightly limited in that I couldn't really take it to business meetings, but in the Christmas period, you get away with it. I just think it's a nice, bright pen, but it looks a little bit classy as well. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. What do you think of this top 5? What would be in your top 5 pens? And it could be that maybe there's some pens on there that you haven't been able to buy yet, but they'd still make it onto this top 5 list. I'd be really interested to know what your top 5 is. Please drop a comment down below. Let's kickstart the conversation. Now, as a little side note, next week in my YouTube live, what I'm going to do is look at the one pen from each of the price ranges that I think is the top pen, the top dog in that price range. We'll do a quick look at those on next week's YouTube live, so why not join in then if you can. Please hit the thumbs up button every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.